Hello friends, welcome to CA Passion channel. In this video, we are going to learn Ind AS 8 Part 2 Accounting Policies, Changes in Accounting Estimates and Errors. As we discussed in the Part 1 Consistency of Accounting Policies. By that, we can say accounting policies are not allowed to change frequently. But subject to some conditions, accounting for change in accounting policies were introduced. An entity shall change an accounting policy only if the change is required by an Ind AS or results in the financial statements providing reliable and more relevant information about the effects of transaction, other events or conditions on the entity's financial position, financial performance or cash flows. That means more appropriate information than before. Users of financial statements need to be able to compare the financial statements of an entity over time to identify trends in its financial position. So, accounting policies are not allowed to be changed frequently unless change in accounting policy meets one of the above criteria. Frequent changes in accounting policies will make it impossible for the stakeholders to make the economic decisions properly. Next, there are two exemptions which are not considered as change in accounting policies. Firstly, the application of an accounting policy for transactions, other events, or conditions that differ in substance from those previously occurring. Let us understand this with an example. An entity has classified as investment property an owner occupied property previously classified as part of PPA, property, plant, and equipment. If a company owns several hotels and provides ancillary services to occupants of rooms, then these hotels are considered as part of PPE. But if the company acquires a new hotel but outsources entire management of the same to an outside agency and remains as a passive investor, then this hotel can be shown as investment. So, showing this new hotel as investment was not considered as change in accounting policy as it was not previously occurred. Second one, the application of a new accounting policy for transactions, other events or conditions that did not occur previously or were immaterial. Let us discuss this sentence with an example. Example, introduction of a formal retirement gratuity scheme to replace ad hoc ex gratia payment. How to apply the changes in accounting policies, whether retrospectively or prospectively. Let us see. If the concerned Ind AS include specific transitional provision, apply the Ind AS respectively. Here, transitional provision means apply the Ind AS for the first time previously which was not applicable. So, follow retrospectively or prospectively as specified in that Ind AS. In the absence of transitional provisions or voluntary change in accounting policy, the accounting policy is applied retrospectively. So, other than transitional provision, change in accounting policy is applied retrospectively. It is compulsory to present a third balance sheet as at the beginning of the preceding period if it applies an accounting policy retrospectively. For example, current period 2019-20, then previous period 2018-19. So, the balance sheet of 2018-19 at the beginning of the year should also be presented as third balance sheet. Limitations on retrospective applications. When retrospective application is required, a change in accounting policy shall be applied retrospectively except to the extent that it is impracticable to determine either the period specific effects or the cumulative effects of the change. Here, period specific effects means specific to a particular financial year, and cumulative effect means effect on each financial year from when change in accounting policy applies. So, in case of impracticability means there is no information for change in accounting policies, then adjustments are made from the earliest date practicable. Accounting for change in accounting estimate. As a result of uncertainties inherent in business activities, many items in financial statements cannot be measured with precision but can only be estimated. Here, precision means fact being exact and accurate. Estimations involves judgments based on the latest available and reliable information. Example: bad debts, useful life of asset, etc. The use of reasonable estimates is an essential part of the preparation of financial statements. Whenever it is difficult to distinguish a change in an accounting policy from a change in an accounting estimate, the change is treated as a change in an accounting estimate. The effect of change in accounting estimate is recognized prospectively. Accounting for correction of errors. First, potential errors of current period. When current period errors are identified, then corrected before the financial statements are approved for issue. Secondly, prior period errors discovered subsequently. This is classified into two. Errors relates to comparative prior period, errors relates to period before the earliest comparative prior period. Here, comparative prior period means previous year. When errors relates to comparative prior period, then restating the comparative amounts for the prior periods by giving retrospective effect. When errors relates to period before the earliest comparative prior period, then restating the opening balances for the earliest prior periods presented with an retrospective effect. So, by this we can say that correction of errors will take retrospective effect from where those errors are occurred. Disclosure requirements. Disclosure in case of change in accounting policy. When there is voluntary change in accounting policy, then disclosure requirements are as follows. Nature of change. Why new accounting policy provides reliable and more relevant information. Effects of each line item for the prior periods presented and current period, and the basic and diluted EPS. Amount of adjustment relating to periods practicable. The fact of impracticability of retrospective restatement. Secondly, in case of initial application of an Ind AS, then following to be disclosed. Title of Ind AS, nature of change, a description of transitional provision, effect of each line item for the prior period presented and current period, and the basic and diluted EPS, the effect of impracticability of retrospective restatement if required, amount of adjustment relating to periods practicable if retrospectively applicable. In case of Ind AS applicable but not yet effective. That means in future this Ind AS will be applicable to the entity. So the respective entity should disclose the following information about this fact and reasonably estimable information relevant to assessing the possible impact of the new Ind AS in the period of initial application. Disclosure requirements in case of accounting estimate and change in prior period errors. In case of change in accounting estimate, the following to be disclosed. Effect of change in estimate on the current period, if applicable, and practicable effect of change in estimate on the future periods. If applicable but impracticable, the fact that it is impracticable to estimate the effect on future periods. In case of change in prior period error. Nature of prior period error, effect of each line item for the prior period presented and the basic and diluted EPS. Amount of correction at the beginning of the earliest prior period presented. The fact of impracticability of retrospective restatement. Finally, we are going to discuss about major changes in Ind AS 8 versus Notified Accounting Standard 5. Firstly, titles. Ind AS 8 is titled with Accounting Policies, Change in Accounting Estimates and Errors, whereas Accounting Standard 5 titled with Net Profit or Loss for the period, prior period items, and Change in Accounting Policies. Second one, disclosure requirements. In case of Ind AS 8, more disclosure requirements when compared to those of Accounting Standard 5. In case of Accounting Standard 5, less as compared to Ind AS 8. Third one, rectification of material prior period errors. In case of Ind AS 8, retrospective effect subject to limited exemptions. But in case of Accounting Standard 5, always prospective effect. Fourth one, accounting for change in accounting policy. In case of Ind AS 8, retrospective effect subject to limited exemptions. In case of Accounting Standard 5, does not specify how change in accounting policy should be accounted for. Fifth one, extraordinary item. In case of Ind AS 8, it does not deal with this concept. But in case of Accounting Standard 5, deal with the concept of extraordinary items. Sixth one, definition of accounting policies. In case of Ind AS 8, it broadens the definition by including bases, conventions, rules and practices in addition to principles as we discussed. But in case of Accounting Standard 5, restricts to specific accounting policies and methods of applying those principles. Seventh one, change in accounting policy. In case of Ind AS 8, does not deal with change in accounting policy on the basis of requirement by the statute. Even though Ind AS 8 does not deal with, but always law overrides the Ind AS. But in case of Accounting Standard 5, allows change in accounting policy if required by statute. Eighth one, selection and application of accounting policies. In case of Ind AS 8, it specifically states that an entity select and apply its accounting policies consistently subject to some conditions. But in case of Accounting Standard 5, does not specifically mention about consistency of accounting policies. Ninth one, objective. In case of Ind AS 8, it specifies the criteria for selecting and changing accounting policy, treatment of changes in accounting estimate, and correction of errors by enhancing relevance and comparability over time and with the financial statements of other entities. But in case of Accounting Standard 5, prescribes the classification and disclosure of certain items in the statement of profit and loss for uniform preparation and presentation of financial statements. The terms of objectives are different. If you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe. For more notifications, hit the bell icon. Thank you.